This is the American Roundtable. I'm Al Spry.
And I'm Bill Strickland.
Boy, we have a full slate of stuff for you on this show, including the Trump shutdown, or is it the Democrat shutdown? Well, we'll tell you more about that. Also, military parades. Military parades, well, going down Pennsylvania Avenue. What do you think about that? Bill, what do you think about that?
I think we got better ways to spend money, but I like remembering our veterans and the sacrifices that they've made.
So glad to have you here. This is your half hour of political power. We call it American Roundtable. Find out more about this show at facebook.com/USA Roundtable. And of course, we always welcome your comments on our Facebook page. And you can always get to us through ToughTV.com. We're so happy to be associated with Tough TV as well as with Tough TV 38 here in Orlando. Well, let's get right to it. Trump's saying, I'd love a shutdown if Democrats won't deal. What's that about? Seems like the president is talking about this shutdown. We've had a few shutdowns, like shutdownettes. Is that what you would call them, Bill? Like mini shutdowns? Or are they going to shut it down again? What's the latest?
Well, they shut it down for a few hours, and then they made a temporary budget, and they're going to have to deal with this in the next couple months anyway. But it just seems to me like the Democrats are trying to leverage the DACA issue. And Trump is saying, well, we want a real immigration policy. So this is more posturing that you see, but it would be nice if they meet in the middle and something actually gets done.
Well, don't expect that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we have this Congress that's been dysfunctional for a while. I would say since at least the mid-90s, if not earlier. And we continue to see both sides being spread more and more apart. Democrats going more to the left, Republicans going more to the right. As far as compromise, I don't know. It doesn't look good. But Trump is, of course, taking the hard line, saying, quote, if we don't get rid of these loopholes where killers are allowed to come into a country and continue to kill if we don't change it, let's have a shutdown, calling the bluff there. But like you said earlier, immigration is actually becoming the old litmus test, the 2020 litmus test for Democrats who are thinking about running for the presidency. What does that mean? It means if you're not backing DACA and a government shutdown to protect DACA, then you're not even going to be considered to run for the presidency. You think there should be something like that involved, Bill?
Well, I think, I personally feel that people should be using their brains here and coming up with the compromise, because the left is moving further to the left and they're becoming more hardcore. The right is standing their ground, and even when they do come together to discuss it, some people don't even show up to the meeting. So how are you supposed to get anything done when people aren't talking to each other?
Well, all I know is when you talk about Congress, I don't know if you should be referring to using their brains, because I just don't think many brains are being used, to be honest with you. I mean, we have the Democrats. Now, what is DACA? Remember what DACA is, right? Dreamers and Achievers Act. This is about people who were brought here as kids from countries that were snuck in, obviously illegally, who through no fault of their own have only known America. But I want to talk more about this and what it means for the Democrats and the Republicans when we return with more of the American Roundtable here on Tough TV 38 and Tough TV. Welcome back to the American Roundtable, and it's so good to have you with us here every Sunday morning at 9. Please tell your friends and family that if they want to get what we call the real deal, they should listen to American Roundtable and watch American Roundtable every Sunday morning. What do you think?
Well, I think that we tell it the way that it is out. And my suggestion on this DACA issue was this program has been in effect for how long?
This has been in effect for, I believe, over 20 years.
So there's got to be some real statistics on where these dreamers, what they're doing now, what kind of jobs they have, what they're doing. So why can't we find out if this program has been working or not working? Are these young people that came over here and they've grown up? What are they doing? So is it a program worth keeping, or is it just something to get more Democratic voters and during the elections. I would like to know what has happened to these dreamers over the last 20 years.
Well, you got some high-profile rumored 2020 contenders from the Democratic side. You have Kamala Harris, she's a senator. Bernie Sanders, Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, all voting against every recent spending bill because they have not seen a vote on an immigration fix. And I think it's high time that we do have a fix for immigration. When was the last time we tackled immigration? It was during the Reagan administration, the same era that we tackled tax reform in. Well, folks, if we can get tax reform done, why can't we do something about immigration? It seems that the proverbial can is getting kicked by both sides and has been for over 30 years. Don't you think it's time that we actually decided to take a look at this issue in a bipartisan way? Come up with some answers, you know? However, it keeps being bantered around, and it's this club that the Democrats and Republicans keep clubbing each other on the head on. We're not going to get anywhere if we keep that attitude. I want to also talk about the fact that, and I like what you brought up with the fact that these folks are Latino, and that is a voting bloc that usually votes Democratic. I think that is not to be discounted in all of this, because it comes down to votes and numbers and who are you appealing to. So keep that in the back of your minds as well, because the Democrats, it's an important voting bloc. They want to seem like they're pro-Latino friendly in all regards. But I think the Republicans should be doing the same thing, don't you?
Well, this is all coming down to the power of the vote with the Latino voters. If the Democrats, if they've been losing, and during the last election with Trump winning, if they've been losing votes, then they have to get a new block of voters. And to me, if they kiss up to the immigrants, illegal immigrants, I must say, because there are legal and there are illegal immigrants. They're not illegal people, but for immigration,
they
yes,
didn't
they
come
are.
in through the procedure.
Right. That your family and my family came
Right.
in, and probably most of our viewers. So this is about voting and power is what it really comes down to.
You know, those politicians love their power. The White House walking back on Trump's treasonous remark. He was speaking, of course, tongue-in-cheek, he says, by saying that that when Democrats don't clap during the State of the Union, that's akin to treason. Now, I don't agree with that, because ever since the politicians have gotten together, one side has clapped during their own side and held silent during the other side. Even in Britain, right? We saw that recent movie. You and I saw it about World War II and Churchill, and when they were speaking, Churchill was speaking, one side didn't clap until the guy waved the kerchief and said, okay, then they started to clap. So, nothing new. But what about the president wanting a military parade? I think we can use the money better for other things. I think I'm in agreement with you. Why do we need a military parade? I mean, we know our military is the greatest in the world. Why do we need to see a parade?
Well, to me, if you want to remember our veterans, do a TV show. I mean, a heck of a lot cheaper talking about the veterans and their sacrifices, which you and I never had to sacrifice the way that they have. That let's bring it to a meeting where most people would be able to see it. Yeah, a parade would be nice, but what are you going to have? You're going to have military. You're going to have missiles going up and down the street, like in Russia or North Korea. Are you going to be talking about the soldiers?
I think it's misplaced. And I think there's other ways to honor the military. Better ways. We'll talk about the lottery winner who made a big mistake. Also, a neo-Nazi set to win the GOP nomination in the Illinois race. That and more on American Roundtable on Tough TV 38 and Tough TV. Welcome back to the American Roundtable. Bill, let's say you won the lottery. You'd be pretty excited, I would think, right?
Well, that would be great, but you know, money has its positive sides, and mostly positive, I would assume, and most people would assume, but there's also some negative sides to it.
Well, one of the negative things that happens when you win the lottery, if you are so blessed to win the lottery, is everyone and their brother knows your name, and they all start hitting you up for money, right? Because they know you got a lot of money now. All of a sudden, you mean something. before. Who gave a dang? Well, a New Hampshire woman found out she was the winner of a $560 million lotto. You know what she did? She got excited. She signed the back of the ticket like they said you need to do. Because if you don't sign the back of the ticket, you know what happens? Someone else can sign the back of the ticket and claim the prize. I think she did the right thing. The real blunder would have been not signing it at all. However, because she didn't put it into a trust, consult an attorney before signing it, the Illinois, or the New Hampshire lottery, I should say, is now beholden to reveal her name. She's saying, please, don't reveal my name. They said, too late, it's part of the law. You want the money? You got to get your name revealed because you didn't put it in a trust. Well, it's good to not do things too hastily. Sometimes in a society, don't you think, Bill, people are too hasty to make rash decisions?
Well, I'm sure that she was excited. I mean, I'm sure we all would be if we found out we won $560 million. But, you know, attorneys come in handy for things. They get a lot of bad press, but everybody needs a good attorney at times. And it's not to screw over somebody else or a situation. It's just to have your rights protected.
Everybody hates a lawyer except for their own lawyer. So I always say these lawyer jokes and all that. But when you need a lawyer, your guy's good.
You know, the thing about lawyers and doctors, and I want to bring this up, they spend a lot of their young life typically going to school. They spend a lot of money going to school, or the parents contribute. They spend a lot of their time. They might spend 6, 8 years that they dedicate to their education. So they invest early, and yeah, they make money later on. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't think there is. I think doctors deserve to make money. They help people. Let's take a look at the YouTube record that the SpaceX launch almost broke. By the way, I think tons of people watched this. I know I did. I was excited to watch this heavy rocket launch. I mean, this was the biggest rocket since the Saturn V, which took our guys to the moon. So it was really cool seeing this Falcon 9 SpaceX heavy rocket take off. 2.3 million people were at one time tuned into this live broadcast. People were cheering. They played David Bowie. They sent a car into space with a stuffed dude. What do you call him? Starman, right? He's still flying out there, isn't he?
He's there, Al.
It's pretty cool.
You can look out there every night. If you're in Colorado, you just smoke a little dope. You look up in the sky and you see the Starman.
Well, at least you think you will.
Well, you'll see something.
It's a Tesla Roadster carrying him across into the asteroid belt now. Is our last.
Great marketing.
Oh, absolutely fantastic marketing. So let's thank Elon Musk for bringing us that achievement. By the way, it was really cool when the boosters landed simultaneously.
Oh, that was cool.
By themselves. At the same moment.
Private industry.
Stuff gets me excited. Yes. And you know what? That was an Obama decision to do that. And you know what? I think it was the correct decision. To turn this stuff over to private industry, which is not curtailed by funding cuts based on whatever administration is in power, like NASA was beholden to. I think it's an excellent idea.
Well, you know, now Trump is turning over the space station to private business, and they're going to build another device or station closer to the moon, because now we're going to the moon.
The sun, the moon, where else are we going?
Mars.
Holy cow. Might even see some Martians on the way there.
I'm sure I see one or two every day, Al. And I don't even live in Colorado.
I don't think those are Martians, Bill. I think those are people from Scandinavia.
Is that it?
Yeah. They look a little off. Just kidding about the Scandinavians. I don't want to get people writing and Tough TV and telling them that.
Yeah, you're being racist.
Just a joke there. Yeah, right. This is American Roundtable. Find out more about us on Facebook, facebook.com/USA Roundtable. Yes, the jokes are bad, but we keep them coming. More in a moment.
Welcome back to American Roundtable. So let's talk about neo-Nazi potential nominee in Illinois.
Illinois, of course, is more of a Democratic stronghold over the years, right? But it looks like John Belushi's character's quip back in the Blues Brothers. Remember, that was an old movie. He said, "I hate Illinois Nazis." This guy is an Illinois Nazi. He describes the Holocaust as a, quote, extortion racket set to win the Republican nomination for the state's 3rd congressional district, which includes parts of Chicago. Now, this guy has been running for the last 20 years. But this time he's running unopposed. He's actually going to be on the ballot, this buffoon. He's 70 years old. He's a former leader of the American Nazi Party. And this guy is going to be on the ballot for the 3rd congressional district in America. What are the odds of that, Bill? Don't we live in strange times?
Well, I like to see how many votes that he gets. I like to see the mentality of our voters and in our society that they would vote for him in the first place. You know, I'm totally against hate of any kind.
You are. You're a lover, not a fighter.
And, you know, to see that he believes that the Illinois governor and Donald Trump surrounded himself with a bunch of Jewish people. I mean, to me, I don't care as long as they do a good job. I don't care about any of that stuff. But I like to see what our society is turning into, because our politics are more polarized, and it seems like our society is more polarized too.
Yeah, I mean, nominations closed a couple months ago, meaning Jones, who openly states his anti-Semitic and white supremacist beliefs, is almost certain to appear on the ballot. I just think we really need to make sure that he doesn't win.
I don't agree with that. I think that we should live in a society to where the voters decide if they want to go for a radical or not. The guy hasn't killed anybody.
Wouldn't it be scary though if they did?
It'd be scary, but every night you can turn on TV and there's a TV show on talking about Hitler and the Nazis. I mean, I really think that our society is really getting skewed here.
I'll tell you what, I don't know what to make of that. All I know is President Trump is saying that he loves Jewish people. In fact, he, quote, surrounded himself with hordes of Jews. That's a lot of Jews.
Hey, his son-in-law is Jewish, so, you know, some of my best friends are Jewish. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, you're friends with people or whatever. And,
I think Bob Marley said it best. That the color of a man's skin or his religion should be as non-sequential or non-meaning as the color of their eyes. Or, you know, we don't say, well, you have blue eyes or you have brown eyes, you're no good. I don't see any of this stuff ever meaning anything. All I know is it's kind of scary when the hate mongers feel like they have more freedom now, because I sense that at times. We're getting a little more hate coming out into the open. I mean, the hate's always there, but it's more under the surface usually.
Well, we're going to talk about hate and how people are acting in our next show out.
How about the man who vanished on a New York ski trip and turned out 6 days later, 2,500 miles away in California, still wearing his ski gear, having no recollection of how he got there?
My question is, what the heck was this guy smoking, Al? What was he smoking?
Police say the firefighter appears to have suffered a head injury and memory loss. Now, this can happen easily when you're skiing and you bang your head. But a Toronto fire captain's skiing trip to upstate New York turned into a cross-country trip to California. Of course, they all thought he was dead somewhere up in the mountain. Danny Filippidis, who was reported missing in the Whiteface Mountain area on February 7th, turned up 2,500 miles away, confused, still wearing his ski clothes. Sergeant Sean Hampton of the Sacramento, California County Sheriff's Department said the 49-year-old called police from Sacramento's airport, identifying himself as a missing person. Showed no signs of impairment, said he remembered little, but believed he had suffered a head injury, and could recall riding in a big rig style truck. So maybe the guy, dazed and confused, asked for a ride. The guy said, well, I'm going to California. Okay, you want to ride me out there? Who knows, right? The funny thing about it is that he did buy an iPhone, made a confused call to his wife. That's how they found him, right? He was able to buy an iPhone. So just to get, he somehow regained his senses after traveling 2,500 miles. Called his wife, and then she urged him to call 911. He did. They're looking for him. 100 people are looking for him in rugged terrain at the ski resort. Haven't found him. But he was confused when they got him. He's unable to give direct answers. Authorities are asking anyone who might have seen him during the time he was missing to come forward with information. Right now, It just seems like a big mystery, doesn't it?
Well, there's a couple different things that could have happened. He could have been watching TV, something in California, hits his head, he wakes up, thinks California. Or he hits his head and he has a past life regression. Maybe he lived in California in his previous life. He was just going home again. You just don't know, Al.
And finally, Amtrak's new problem. We've had a lot of these Amtrak derailments lately. I know you know about that, Bill. But now we're seeing cars uncoupling at high speed. Because Amtrak needed one more negative headline, as they haven't had enough, one of its high-speed Acela trains came apart recently while en route from D.C. to New York. Specifically, the first two cars on the train uncoupled from each other. This is not good. When train cars uncouple, bad things usually happen. No one was injured in this incident there, but of course the train was rolling along at 125 miles an hour. Very lucky people. Second train arrived to bring the 52 passengers the rest of the way to Penn Station. Amtrak said it's investigating what caused the mechanical issue, along with inspecting every Acela train. If you're not on Amtrak 2150 this morning, boy, you're really missing out, unquote, one passenger tweeted. Two cars separated and sparks and smoke went everywhere. What do you think, Bill? I know that obviously Amtrak is kind of, it's a public public-private partnership, right? You would say?
Yeah, I took many rides between Philly and New York when I was younger, and it's a great way to travel. But here we are, we have human error that we've had some conductors speeding, going around, and they're not paying attention, and then we have some mechanical errors, which this could be. But I think most of the time it's going to go back to human error. So maybe there should be certain procedures put into place and a checklist to make sure everything is up to snuff before they start rolling.
Well, we're going to get rolling now. Thank you so much for watching another episode of American Roundtable, where we do politics finger-licking good. I'm Al Spry.
And I'm Bill Strickler.
So happy to see you. We'll see you next time on Tough TV 38 and Tough TV. Remember to keep it real.
And keep it tough.